If you are hearing these words right now, it is not by accident. Something deep inside you already knows that this moment is a signal, a quiet invitation to remember what you truly are. For so long, life has been about movement, about doing, about chasing something that always seems just out of reach. We have been told that happiness lives somewhere in the future, that peace will come after we succeed, after we fix ourselves, after we become someone better. Yet even after the goals are reached and the dreams are achieved, there is still that quiet space inside that whispers, there must be more. That feeling is not emptiness. It is awareness calling you home. It is the part of you that has never changed, no matter how many times your life has. You are not the thoughts that race through your mind, not the roles you play, not even the face you see in the mirror. Those are reflections, temporary patterns shaped by time and experience. But the one who sees, the one who feels, the one who has been here through every rise and fall, that is you. That presence has never left. It was there when you were a child full of wonder. It was there when you first felt love. And it was there when your heart broke and you thought you would never be whole again. Through every joy and every loss, it has been silently watching, learning, and waiting for you to notice it. You are not the body listening to these words. You are the energy animating it. The body changes, emotions shift, thoughts come and go, but the awareness behind them remains untouched. Take a moment now and feel it. The stillness between your breaths, the quiet space behind every thought, the calm observer within you, that is your true nature. It does not need to prove anything or be anyone. It has never been lost, only forgotten. Every time you stop and remember this presence, life begins to feel lighter. The noise of the world fades, and clarity rises like morning light after a long storm. This is the beginning of awakening, not a sudden miracle, but a gentle remembering of something ancient and familiar inside you. And if these words resonate with you, if they stir something quiet and real within your heart, take a moment to subscribe to Infinite Quantum so we can continue this journey of awakening together. Since the day we were born, we have been taught to trust what our senses tell us. We touch a wall and feel its firmness. We see our reflection and believe that is who we are. We hold objects and call them real. Everything seems solid, separate, and permanent. The world appears to be made of things, and those things seem to define our lives. Yet, when science looked closer, something astonishing was revealed. At the smallest level of observation, matter dissolves into energy. The atoms that make up everything around you are not solid particles, but waves of vibration, moving in patterns too fast for the human eye to see. The chair you sit on, the phone in your hand, even your body, are made of energy moving at different speeds. The more we look, the less solid everything becomes. What appears to be hard and fixed is mostly empty space filled with invisible motion and frequency. Imagine holding your hand up to the light. It looks solid, familiar, completely yours. But in truth, it is made of atoms that are mostly space, and the particles within those atoms are not even still. They move in patterns of probability, sometimes acting like waves, sometimes like particles, depending on whether they are being observed. What you call your hand is not a single thing. It is a dance of energy, temporarily organized into a form that your senses can recognize. This is not just science. It is reality inviting you to see beyond appearances. Everything you can see or touch, every sound and every color, is vibration. It is frequency translated by your nervous system into an image, a sound, or a feeling. The wall that seems to stop you is not truly solid. It simply vibrates at a frequency that repels your own. You are not separate from it. You are made of the same field, experiencing itself in a different pattern. We have lived, believing that we are separate beings moving through a material world. But separation is the greatest illusion of all. In truth, there is only one field expressing itself through infinite forms, one energy shifting and dancing into endless shapes. You are not standing apart from this field. You are inside it, and it is inside you. The air you breathe becomes part of your body, and the breath you release becomes part of someone else. Everything flows into everything else, a single movement of life pretending to be many. If you take a moment now to feel into that truth, you might notice something change inside you. The world feels softer, less distant. The boundaries between you and everything around you begin to blur. You realize that nothing has ever been separate. Not the sky, not the ground, not the people you meet. All of it, every atom, every thought, every heartbeat, is energy vibrating within the same infinite field. The illusion of matter is not a mistake. It is part of the game of being human, a way for consciousness to explore itself through form. But now that you are aware, you can begin to see through it. You can live knowing that what feels solid is simply energy held in place by perception. And when you remember that, the world no longer feels heavy. It becomes fluid, responsive, alive. It begins to mirror the truth that has been within you all along, that everything is one energy, moving, breathing, and remembering itself through you. Reality is not as fixed as we have been taught to believe. It is not a rigid stage where events happen outside of us while we simply react to them. Reality is fluid, alive, constantly reshaping itself in response to the state of our consciousness. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, sends a signal into the quantum field that surrounds and forms you. That signal carries a frequency, and the universe listens to it. Think of a day when you woke up feeling heavy, worried, or sad. The world seemed colder, slower, less welcoming. Small problems felt bigger, people felt distant, and opportunities seemed out of reach. Then think of a day when you felt light and alive, when gratitude filled your heart for no reason. On those days, the world seemed to open. Strangers smiled, ideas flowed easily, and life seemed to work with you instead of against you. What changed was not the world, but the energy you were radiating into it. This is not philosophy, it is physics. Consciousness interacts with the field of energy that forms reality, just as an observer affects the behavior of particles in quantum experiments. When you focus your attention, you are not just observing reality, you are shaping it. Your perception collapses waves of probability into specific outcomes. You are not a passive witness to the universe. You are an active participant, a co-creator in an endless conversation between awareness and form. Most people live without realizing this power. They believe life is something happening to them, rather than something responding to them. They wait for circumstances to change before they allow themselves to feel joy or peace. But reality mirrors the energy you bring to it. When you radiate fear, you meet resistance. When you radiate gratitude, life rearranges itself to match that frequency. The field does not respond to your wishes, it responds to your state of being. You do not manifest what you want, you manifest what you are. When your inner world is aligned with love, peace, and clarity, the outer world begins to organize around that harmony. When your thoughts and emotions are in coherence, you become magnetic to experiences that reflect that state. This is why healing, abundance, and connection appear not through struggle, but through alignment. The moment your consciousness shifts, the world has no choice but to follow. Imagine for a moment that you are standing in front of a mirror. If you frown at your reflection, it frowns back. If you smile, it smiles. Trying to change your reflection without changing your expression is impossible. Yet that is how most people live. trying to fix the mirror of reality without shifting the consciousness that creates it. The key is not to fight the image, but to transform the source of it. Once you understand this, life stops feeling random. You begin to see meaning in what once seemed like coincidence. Every encounter, every challenge, every delay carries a message reflecting your current vibration. The world is not against you, it is responding to you. When you change your inner frequency, the outer frequency naturally adjusts. It is not magic. It is the natural interaction between energy and consciousness. And this is the beauty of awareness. The more conscious you become, the less you feel like a victim of circumstance, and the more you feel like a participant in creation. You start to move through life with a quiet confidence, knowing that reality is flexible, responsive, and deeply personal. The universe is not a distant machine. It is a living field that mirrors your most intimate state of being. When consciousness changes, reality changes, because they are not two things. They are one and the same. There comes a moment when everything you thought you were begins to dissolve. It does not happen through effort. It happens through stillness. Maybe it comes during meditation, maybe during a quiet walk, or in a moment of loss, when the mind stops trying to control what cannot be controlled. For a brief instant, you fall out of thinking and into pure awareness. You begin to notice that there is no clear line separating you from the world around you. The sound of the wind, the beating of your heart, the rhythm of your breath, all merge into a single movement. It feels as if life itself is breathing through you. In that moment, something ancient stirs within you. You realize that you are not inside the universe looking out. The universe is inside you, expressing itself through your awareness. The boundaries between self and other, inside and outside, body and space, begin to blur. The world feels softer, lighter, more intimate. You see that the same energy moving the stars is moving through your veins. The same silence that fills the sky lives in the space between your thoughts. Most people experience small glimpses of this truth and then forget, because the mind comes rushing back to name and explain it. It tries to analyze what happened, to fit it into something it can understand. But the mind cannot hold what is infinite. What you experienced was not an idea. It was a direct meeting with reality itself, raw and unfiltered. The observer and the observed were never two. They were always one energy recognizing itself through perception. When this realization touches you deeply, something inside begins to shift. You feel less like you are living life, and more like life is living itself through you. You stop trying to fix or control every moment because you can sense the intelligence that is already guiding everything. The struggle to make things happen begins to fade, replaced by a quiet trust in the flow of existence. You start to move with life instead of against it, to follow its rhythm instead of resisting its direction. Sometimes this awareness comes in silence, sometimes in the middle of chaos. It can arrive during heartbreak, illness, or even in the simplest act of breathing. What matters is not how it happens, but that it does. Because once you have tasted this truth, even for a second, it changes the way you see everything. You understand that nothing is separate, that everything is connected in a living web of energy and consciousness. And though the experience may fade, the memory of that recognition remains. It becomes a compass inside you, a reference point that you can return to again and again. Every time you pause and remember that you are energy, that you are awareness itself, life reorganizes around that understanding. The confusion, the fear, the tension begin to dissolve, not because the outside world changes instantly, but because your relationship to it does. You are no longer trapped in the illusion of separation. This is the moment energy recognizes itself. It is the point where the seeker and what is sought become one. You are not awakening to something outside of you. You are awakening from the dream of being something small and separate. What remains is peace, clarity, and an unshakable knowing that you have never been apart from the whole. You have simply been asleep within it, and now you are beginning to remember. Your body is not just a collection of flesh and bones. It is a living field of energy constantly communicating with your consciousness. Every cell listens to the signals created by your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs. The mind and the body are not separate. They are two expressions of the same intelligence. When you think a thought, it is not confined to your head. It moves through your entire system as electrical and magnetic information. Every emotion you feel carries a vibration that shapes the behavior of your cells. Science calls this field of communication epigenetics, but it is more than a biological mechanism. It is a language between consciousness and matter. When you identify yourself as limited, fragile, and bound by fear, your cells organize themselves around that message. They contract, they protect, they prepare to defend. But when you begin to identify as energy, as awareness itself, something extraordinary happens. The same cells begin to receive new instructions. They open, they expand, they start to heal. You have seen this in your own life, even if you did not name it. Think of a time when you felt inspired or deeply loved. Your body felt light, your breath moved freely, your energy flowed effortlessly. Now think of a time when you felt hopeless or trapped in grief. Your body tightened, your breath shortened, your shoulders sank. The difference was not in the world around you, but in the signal your consciousness was broadcasting. The body listens and responds in perfect coherence with the mind. When you understand this, healing stops being a mystery. It becomes a natural outcome of awareness returning to balance. The moment you stop feeding your cells fear and start feeding them peace, the biology of your body begins to reorganize. It is not magic, it is physics. Energy follows consciousness. Where your awareness goes, life flows. The field is not punishing or rewarding you. It is simply reflecting what you are sending into it. Imagine for a moment that your thoughts are small drops of color falling into a pool of water. Each thought spreads and ripples, touching every molecule of the pool. The clearer the color, the more coherent the field becomes. The more scattered or dark the thoughts, the more turbulence appears. Your body is that pool, and your consciousness is the color. Every emotion, every belief, is a frequency painting the experience of your life. This is why self-awareness is not a luxury. It is a necessity. To awaken is not to escape the body, but to remember that the body is your greatest teacher. It mirrors your state of being in every sensation, every heartbeat, every breath. The aches, the fatigue, the tension are not enemies to fight, but messages from your own energy asking to be seen. The moment you meet those sensations with presence instead of resistance, something begins to shift. The energy that was stuck starts to move. The patterns that held you in pain start to dissolve. Every healing, every transformation begins with a change in perception. When you shift from believing you are matter to knowing you are energy, you stop trying to fix yourself and start allowing yourself to flow. The cells reorganize, the nervous system calms, and the field around you becomes coherent again. This is the physics of awakening. It is the moment when consciousness stops fighting its reflection and begins to dance with it. If you are listening to this and feel something moving inside you, a quiet sense of recognition or peace, it is not imagination. It is your energy responding to truth. It is the remembrance of what you have always known but forgot to trust. And if these words touch you in some way, I invite you to share your reflection in the comments. Your story, Your moment of realization might become the light that helps someone else awaken to their own truth. Awakening is not reserved for a few. It is the natural movement of energy remembering itself. Every cell in your body is waiting for that recognition, for the signal that says, I am safe, I am free, I am one with everything. When you feel that truth even for a moment, your whole being begins to reorganize around it. The body listens, the field responds, and reality starts to flow in harmony with your awareness. This is not belief. It is the physics of being alive. When you begin to live as energy, something inside you quietly changes. Life stops feeling like a series of problems to solve and starts feeling like a flow to move with. You realize that resistance is not something outside of you. It is something that forms when your energy pushes against what is. The moment you stop fighting, you begin to align with the rhythm of life. Everything that once felt heavy starts to move more freely, and situations that once seemed impossible begin to unfold in unexpected harmony. Think of a river moving around a rock. The water does not argue. It does not stop to complain or force its way through. It simply flows, finding a new path with ease. That is how energy moves when it is free, and that is how you were meant to move through life. The mind has been trained to control, to calculate, to prepare for every outcome, but energy has its own intelligence. It knows when to move and when to be still. It knows that every pause has purpose, and every delay carries direction. Living as energy does not mean ignoring reality. It means participating in it differently. You still act, you still plan, you still make choices, but you are no longer driven by fear or the need to control. You act from alignment, from trust, from connection. You listen to the quiet impulses within you, the subtle nudges that come not from thought, but from intuition. Sometimes they lead you away from logic, yet they always lead you to peace. You begin to notice that life itself communicates with you through signs, coincidences, and timing. The right people show up, opportunities align, and events unfold in ways that the mind alone could never orchestrate. You realize that this is not luck, it is coherence. When your energy is in harmony with the field, reality mirrors that harmony. The external world becomes a reflection of your inner clarity. People often ask how to reach this state, but the truth is, it cannot be reached by effort. It happens when you stop identifying with tension and begin identifying with flow. When you stop asking, how do I control this? And start asking, how can I cooperate with it? Living as energy is about letting life move through you without resistance, allowing every experience to teach you what it came to teach, and then letting it pass. There will still be challenges, but they will no longer define you. Pain will still come, but it will move through faster, no longer trapped by fear. You begin to sense that even the difficult moments are not mistakes. They are movements of energy seeking balance. You start to trust life, not because everything goes your way, but because you know that everything has its way, and you are part of it. When you live this way, something softens in your heart. You stop rushing. You start listening. You feel a deeper compassion for others because you can see that everyone is doing the best they can with the energy they are aware of. Judgment fades, replaced by understanding. You start to live not as a person surviving the world, but as energy experiencing itself as a person. And this changes everything. The lines between inner and outer reality blur, and every day becomes an expression of one continuous movement. Life ceases to be something you manage and becomes something you feel. The more you relax into this flow, the more natural joy begins to rise. It does not depend on conditions or outcomes. It comes from alignment, from the realization that you are not separate from the current. You are the current itself, moving, learning, evolving, and returning to balance. This is what it means to live as energy. It is not an escape from life. It is an intimacy with life. You are not trying to become spiritual. You are remembering that you already are. The same force that spins galaxies and ignites stars is breathing through you right now, shaping your experiences, your emotions, your choices. The moment you stop fighting it, you begin to live in harmony with it, and that harmony is freedom. Time has always felt like a straight line. We are born, we grow, we age, and we die. We remember what came before and imagine what will come next. But in the deeper layers of reality, time does not move in a line. It exists all at once. Past, present, and future are not separate moments. They are different frequencies of the same field. The mind experiences them in sequence, but energy moves freely through them. You have felt this before without realizing it. A memory from childhood suddenly appears in your mind, not as an image from the past, but as a wave of feeling that touches you now. A thought about the future fills you with peace or fear, even though it has not happened. This is how energy interacts with time. Consciousness is not bound by it. The field that forms you carries every possibility you could ever live, all waiting for you to tune into one of them. Manifestation is not about creating something that does not exist. It is about aligning your awareness with a version of reality that is already present in the field. Every potential life already exists as energy, vibrating at its own frequency. When your state of being matches that frequency, your experience shifts to meet it. What you call the future is simply a frequency you have not yet tuned to. This is why thoughts alone do not create change. You cannot think your way into a new reality while feeling like the same person. The field responds to vibration, not words. You must feel the energy of what you seek as if it already lives within you. When your emotions and your awareness align, time bends. What was once distant begins to draw near, not because it is moving toward you, but because you have moved into its frequency. Think about a radio station. The music you want to hear is already being broadcast, but you will not hear it until you tune to the right signal. Life works in the same way. The future you desire is already transmitting from the field. The moment you align your inner state with it, you begin to experience it in subtle ways. People appear, ideas arrive, paths open as if by coincidence. But it is not coincidence. It is coherence. It is the universe reorganizing itself to match your vibration. You may wonder, how can this be true if everything feels so physical, so linear? The answer is perspective. The mind perceives time as a line because it processes experience in order, but consciousness can access all points in that line simultaneously. When you enter deep states of stillness or presence, you can feel this. Time slows, even stops. The past no longer pulls at you, and the future no longer worries you. There is only now, vast and endless, holding every possibility inside it. In this state, you realize that the present moment is not a small point between what was and what will be. It is the entire field of existence. Everything you could ever become is here, within this now. The moment you stop rushing, you start noticing that the universe is not waiting to give you something later. It is ready to reflect what you are now. When you understand this, patience becomes natural. You no longer chase outcomes, you cultivate alignment. You no longer worry about time running out because you realize you are not running through time, time is unfolding through you. The field responds instantly to the vibration you hold, but your experience unfolds gradually so that you can feel it, live it, and integrate it. The more present you are, the more life begins to flow in synchrony. You start noticing perfect timing, moments that feel divinely orchestrated, opportunities that appear at the exact second you are ready for them. These are not accidents. They are reflections of the quantum present, where everything is connected through awareness. To live in the quantum present is to live outside of fear. Fear only exists when you believe you are running out of time. But when you rest in the now, you realize that eternity is not endless years. It is this single moment, expanding infinitely. In that realization, peace rises naturally. You no longer need to chase the future or escape the past. You simply exist in harmony with the timeless rhythm of the field. And in that rhythm, everything you need is already here. Take a deep breath and feel the space inside your chest. Feel the rise and fall of your breath as it moves through you. That simple movement is the universe breathing. Every inhale and every exhale connects you to something far greater than the body. For a long time, you may have believed that you were a small being moving through a large universe, but now you begin to realize that you are the universe expressing itself through a human form. Close your eyes for a moment and notice the silence underneath the sounds around you. Feel the gentle pulse of energy that animates every cell of your body. That vibration is life itself. It has no beginning and no end. It was there before you were born, and it will remain long after this body fades. You are not the limited identity you once thought you were. You are the awareness behind it, the energy that moves through every form and returns to stillness again and again. Every experience you have ever lived has been a mirror guiding you back to this realization. The joy, the heartbreak, the loss, and the triumph were all expressions of the same energy trying to wake itself up. Life has never been happening to you. It has been happening for you, to help you remember. You were never meant to master the world. You were meant to remember that you are the world, that you are the field, that you are the consciousness shaping reality with every thought, every breath, and every moment of awareness. As you listen now, take another slow breath and feel the truth settle in your body. You do not have to force it. You only have to notice it. Every cell in your body already knows. The energy that gives you life is the same energy that gives life to everything. There is no boundary between you and the sky, between you and the earth, between you and the people you love. You are one continuous movement of creation, remembering itself. You might still have doubts, and that is human. You might still forget this truth, and that is natural. Awakening is not about never forgetting. It is about remembering again and again until the remembering becomes your way of being. Each time you fall back into fear, you have the opportunity to rise back into awareness. Each moment of forgetfulness becomes a doorway to deeper understanding. Now say quietly to yourself, I am not this body. I am the energy moving through it. Feel the resonance of those words vibrate through your entire being. This is not just an affirmation. It is a recognition. When you feel it deeply, you change your frequency. The universe responds not to your words, but to your state of awareness. The moment you recognize yourself as energy, everything around you begins to reflect that truth. Reality bends not because you command it, but because you have remembered who you are. You stop seeking control and start living in harmony with the intelligence that moves all things. The more you trust this intelligence, the more effortless life becomes. You start to see beauty everywhere, even in moments that once felt painful. You realize that nothing was ever wasted, that every step has been leading you here, to this moment of remembering. There is nothing more to achieve, nowhere else to go. The awakening you were searching for has always been within you, waiting for your attention to turn inward. The field that forms your existence is listening. The energy that you are has never left. You have never been disconnected. You have simply been asleep within the dream of being separate, and now you are waking up. So breathe deeply and let gratitude fill you, not as a concept, but as a vibration. Feel thankful for this awareness, for this moment, for this life. Everything you have ever wanted has been pointing you back to this truth. You are energy remembering itself, consciousness discovering its own reflection. The universe is not outside of you. It unfolds within you, as you, through you. You are the field in human form. Welcome home.